Happy Friday. What's up, y'all? We back here with the Sorry It's True podcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat coming in. Shout out to all the members, man. Y'all are so appreciated. Y'all are the rock stars on the channel, along with the mods. Shout out to Checks and Balances. Shout out to everybody, man. We're gonna start this day off having a little bit of fun. Chat and anybody that also watches this after the live is done. We're gonna do things a little bit different this morning, okay? I know a lot of people normally are used to checking in. All right, 6 a.m. Let's see what's going on. Let me see if there's some updates in Little Dirk's case. What's happening with Diddy's docket? Um, what else? Is Big U gonna get bail? You know, all this type of news that we cover, and I understand you guys are used to that. But today, today I'm gonna switch things up a little bit, right? I'm gonna take my time. The way I'm gonna switch things up, I promise you, we are gonna get to everything in the title. My honest reaction to Clone, Diddy, and Kanye West's recent drama. Right, that's all updated news. That's all fresh off the presses. But I want to switch things up because I want to talk about streaming. I'm going to talk a little bit about as some of this world and this podcast and this channel relates to me before I get into the news. All right. I want to build with y'all, just me and y'all for a second. Okay. I was inspired to build with y'all for a little bit because you saw the other day when I responded to my name getting mentioned on Hip Hop Is Real as it pertains to Clone and his situation. I said on that stream, I was just like, now I'm not really covering this. I'm staying up to date, but I'm not doing active streams and active content on that situation. And one of the reasons why I've said it a bunch of times, these celebrities, the celebrity world, the hip hop world, the entertainment world, I don't want to meet these people. I don't want to shake their hands. I don't want to be around them. I've never broken bread with them. They don't owe me nothing. I don't owe them nothing. I'm always going to be me. But at the same time, I feel more free in that space. Battle rap is a space that I played a huge part in. And I know some of these people. I broke bread with some of these people. I still fuck with some of these people. And I kind of stay away from battle rap controversy 99% of the time unless I'm up here these days defending myself or some narrative that comes in my direction or my brand's direction, RBE, right? Other than that, I don't really do too much battle rap controversy. I'm aware. I watch. I'm tuned in. I'm so tapped into battle rap still. But only if you guys knew how tapped in I still am. But I haven't been covering the clone topic. So let's start off with some disclaimers, right? Um, why now? Why is clone in my topic now? So the 1000% honest truth of that is last night. What happened with me last night? What did I do last night? I probably was in the bed at like 8 o'clock, and I watched the second half of The Last of Us season 2, episode 3. Because when I watched the first half of it the other day, I fell asleep. I was just tired. I'm a very, very early bird. I'm down early and up early. That's just me. Everybody knows that about me. You'll have Charlie Clips online clowning me about that. Charlie Clips has done videos saying, I know it's 6 p.m. at night and the RBE office is probably closed, but call me when you wake up at 3 a.m. so we could talk business. Everybody knows that about me. You know what I'm saying? So last night I probably fell out by at least like 9, maybe earlier. I don't know. But I woke up and I checked my text messages, and I would normally never read stuff like this on my text, but it's part of my integrity and it's part of this stream and it's part of even why I'm changing some of the format today and I'm talking about streaming. It's all folded together. I got a text message that I woke up to this morning. It came in last night at 10:01 p.m. Shout out to Clone. Clone texts me, get the hashtag facts out there for me. Emoji 100, emoji handshake, and a link to his new video that I assume he dropped last night. If I look at the timestamp, I'm pretty sure that's when it came out. I replied to him 4:46 this morning. That's when I was up. I replied to him 4:46 this morning. Salute. I stream every morning. No problem, G's. I'll check out this morning when I get started at 6 a.m. Now, briefly, here is his new video. I'm not going to play it yet. I did not watch it. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what he's proving, disproving. I don't know what's in here that I agree with, I disagree with. The only thing I did when I brought this up like 25, 30 minutes ago as I was staging my stream was I went like this. I just took my mouse along the bottom and I scanned the bottom. I said, I see paperwork in here. I see highlights. That's like some Big K and Adi Boom type shit. You know, when you highlight certain sections, I see him talking. And I said, okay. And then the title is obvious. Clone responds to snitching allegations with paperwork and proof. So just like I text him, like, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, now another reason for me setting that stage is because it would be like hypocrisy for me then, right? If you guys didn't know about that text message, it's like, well, why cover it now, ARP? Like, right? So I just want to get that out of there. Another disclaimer, even the thumbnail, and this is going to lead me into my streaming topic, and then I'm going to start getting into this stuff. The thumbnail, you see me like this in a thumbnail, okay? That has nothing to do with clone. I did not watch this video yet. All right. That is actually for Kanye West. All right. Here's the thing about streaming, people. Let's talk streaming. Let's talk me. Let's talk Sorry It's True. Let's talk about ARP. The tone of a podcast really is set by the personality of the host or the main face, the A mic. What's an A mic? An A mic is the lead voice in the equation. Maybe that's Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. That's Joe Button on the Joe Button podcast. That's Math Hoffa on My Expert Opinion. That's the person that will set the stage. That's the person that say, everybody chill out, hold on, we going in this direction. I want to ask this question. And also the loudest voice and sometimes the most subjective and the most entertaining voice. That's what the A mic is. Okay. The personalities of streamers are heavily, heavily a part of the viewers and the listeners' attractions to these topics. When we wake up in the morning and we see, oh, snap, last night, Little Dirk actually got bond, and everybody sees that news. Why would you give a shit about hearing my take on it, and then academics' take on it, and then Joe Button's take on it, and then this blogger's take on it, and Vlad's interview about it? Because the personality of the person is going to give differences, right? Um, okay, LeBron just got kicked out in a gentleman's sweep of the first round last night. I want to see what Stephen A is going to say. I want to see what my boy Chris Broussard is going to say. I want to see what Nick Wright is going to say. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it goes. And you need to be able to present that, or else who cares about your take? Now let's get into the difference between streaming and content creation. Can you stream and then inadvertently create content? Of course, right? I mean, not podcasting, content creation and streaming. Yes. Content creators. Who are some great content creators? Traplo Ross is one of my favorite content creators. Okay. I just watched his joint on 051 Melly the other day, put together very well. He's one of the best editors, the way he narrates and puts things together, does his homework. He's one of the best overall content creators in the hip hop space. He is. What's the dirt? The way he does his breakdown videos for the diss tracks and everything, the Kendrick and Drake beef, the way he does it as a content creator, top notch, 10 out of 10, stellar content creators. How about people like Casey Neistat, if I'm even pronouncing his last name the right way? One of the biggest YouTubers in the world. His content, it's made him millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars because he's a great content creator, and then his personality added on top of that, of course. But it's just his shit just became so interesting. It took him out of here. One of the biggest YouTubers ever, right? Streamers is a little bit different than just a sole content creator. Content creators lean a little bit more on the subject and the content, whereas streamers have to lean just as much on the content and the topics, but also them as the personality. That's where some of the difference comes in. This is content pure creation versus streaming knowledge. Okay. Academics. He could sit down there for 6 or 7 hours as a streamer and be entertaining. Why? Because he has born talents, right? There's some great content creators out there. Like if you take Traplo Ross, and you put me and him in a room and you say, I want you guys to both sit down and create a video about King Von, he will kill me. He'll be a 10, I'll be a 1. Okay. Now, if you say, I want you, Trap Lil Ross and ARP, to sit down and stream about King Von live, right? I'll kill him. Trap Lil Ross, I can see in his interviews, like when he's with Vlad or Adam 22, live, some of these people are nowhere of that caliber. That's a different talent to be able to speak live. Nothing of what I'm saying right now is scripted. You guys have seen me live, even which loans to the credit of when I get to the clone shit to do him the justice of what I said I would do, which is watch this live for the first time. You guys can see it in my natural reactions when I do references and my mind just goes matrix. And I just say stupid shit and we laugh about it. Like, what is he talking about? Why'd he mention that movie? Why'd he bring in that lyric? And I go topic within a topic within a topic and then come back to the main point. I could read a super chat and then not be taken off on my subject and come back. I'm doing it right now, actually. It's a born thing. It's a born thing. So those people that stream, right? They can do these things live. And I like that bolsters the credibility as well of this is somebody's natural reaction. This is how somebody truly feels. Oh, he really read that part of the article. He skimmed the title and he made sure he knew what the content was going to be about for the stream when he staged it. He set up all the tabs and made sure he had it so the stream could flow naturally. But when he got to that third paragraph, you could see, oh, he read that shit for the first time. And then he went and Googled, what does that mean? What? How much is it worth? How old is Diddy? Live, live reactions. Content creators versus streamers. The streamers, the personality, who the person is, their talents, their ability to speak, their ability to go naturally in and out of pockets. That's what it's required. So, even towards the end of this stream, after we do clones breakdown, after I do the Diddy update and the Kanye update, I do have I want to address King Los about something at the end. I got a couple movies down here. You know, we do that sometimes on Saturdays and Fridays, whatever, late in the week. You know, having fun. So the main face, the host, the personality in the streaming world becomes almost as important as the actual topics. Or once again, what's the point? Okay, I already see the headlines. LeBron lost. What the fuck do I care about click and play on ARP now for or Stephen A for? The personalities, the takes that change it. And in the streaming world, that is important. The person is important. Okay. All right. So I made sure I got in front of any hypocrisy. Why are you doing this clone stream? I did that text message. I explained the thumbnail just in case somebody saw that. I wanted to get ahead of any of that stupid shit that tarnished my credibility as a person. And then we talked a little bit about me and streaming, right? Are we done? Chat, are we good? 1 in the chat if you're ready to continue, or 2 in the chat if you want me to continue to elaborate on anything else. All right. This is what I mean by live. I can go either direction. I promise you. What's up, chat? You know what I hate? I hate when I say things and then I gotta wait like 30 seconds for the answers because of the internet delay from me to you guys. All right, I'm getting a bunch of ones. Damn, this much ones this fast? Y'all, I interpret that as shut the fuck up and go to clone now. Fuck y'all. Yo, y'all gonna spam me that fast? I don't got a single 2 in here. It makes me want to count and be like, nah, we're not gonna go no topics yet. No, I got you. At the end of the day, too, there's one thing that I left out. The topics are derivative of the personality, but also the people. You guys drive it all forward. So I'm gonna listen to y'all. I was gonna be petty and say fuck y'all, but I'm gonna listen to y'all. Okay. All right. Live reaction to this new clone video that was released. I don't think I need to do too much of a backdrop. And if you do need a backdrop, it's pretty much this is a battle rapper from the battle rap space that was accused of ratting or snitching after an interrogation video came out with him, or a clip of an interrogation video of him came out, mentioning names, mentioning groups, as he was being interviewed or being questioned or being whatever, interrogated, and the clips of it have become a debate between himself, his co-defendants, the battle rap community, etc., etc., etc. All right, let's go.
How you doing? For the past week and a half, you've heard bloggers, rappers, even co-defendants paint this narrative that I'm something I'm not. This
I promise you, live, honest reaction. I wouldn't have done that right there. Um, Let me see the people that was. I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, I wouldn't have done this clone.
bloggers, rappers, even co-defendants
Yeah,
paint this
I
narrative
want to. I wouldn't have done that. I would keep the focus just on myself and my situation. That right there, almost what's the right word? Not antagonizes because you're the one defending yourself, but you understand the point, the way I'm going there. Arsenal to be there. Arsenal's one. He has a huge voice. Piper Boy has a big channel and a big following. He's covering this multiple times a day, damn near. And he's opposed to your position. And then obviously your co-defendants are. So I wouldn't have done that. But all right, let's continue.
that I'm something I'm not.
I would have just said that without putting
This all
that in
stemmed
there.
from an interrogation interview of mine that happened from a 2019 RICO. This interrogation interview was only a partial snippet of a full 30-minute plus interview, which I've stated that my co-defendants did not have. Why this video was forced into battle rap, we sort of know why, but why did battle rap bloggers choose to push the narrative instead of getting in contact with me or DMing me to let me clear my name properly? We still don't know the answer, but hopefully we'll find out. What we
I do know the answer to that. The very first time I ever mentioned this is I broke that down. I explained that we are all misled at times. Me at times as well. I even gave a number. I said there's probably like 7 to 10 people in the culture that I would absolutely expect, and even the seven is might be pushing. I might be wrong about some of them, but it's like 7 to 10 people in the culture. If my name had any smut on it, or there was any allegations on me of something that just looked bad, um, I would expect that 7 to 10 people to call me, right? Everybody else, I just know how this goes. We all, and I think that's a learning lesson for Clone as well of how this goes. There's a lot of associations in this space that are purely I do for you, you do for me type of relationship. The pure word association and associates establishes it right off the rip, right? You have associates, you have friends, you have family. I mean, there's a little smaller in betweens, but those are like the three main categories just to make the point. An associate is just that. Um, I don't expect some of these platforms to stop or to never put out or to never be interested in content that is against me. There are certain media platforms and bloggers that will give me the respect at times. Like, hey, just a heads up. This person just sent me a diss track and I'm gonna put it out. But you're telling me it's coming out. You know what I'm saying? Very few times it's been a whole like, hey man, this happened and how do you feel? And I'll be like, man, trash that shit. And then they don't put out. That's happened very, very few times. But I also believe that not only because that person uh, felt that way towards me, it was also a situation where or situations where they themselves were on the fence. Right. Like if you feel so adamant about something, like what I tell you ain't really gonna matter. But if you feel like already out about it and it's just like, and then given my reputation, it's just like, I'm gonna put this out. I already feel in the middle about it. Then here comes ARP. He's probably gonna be able to trash this shit with a video. And then he gonna fuck around and come at me and I'm gonna catch some shrapnel for it. You know what I'm saying? So those cases, those things didn't happen either. But I want to say this. I don't think that people are walking around prior to this waiting for something to happen to clone. There are battle rappers in the space that are disliked, right? Where damn, I can't wait to see somebody can't wait to see him fall. Can't wait to see him take his first L. Damn, he's arrogant as shit. right? There are battle rappers out there like that. I just, me coming from the space and being so embedded in the space, I don't believe that Clone is one of those people. So I don't believe that the media or the bloggers that have had negative positions on Clone, I don't believe that they had pre-existing reasons why they would want to go at him. I think after anything came out, for those people, you became a topic of interest for them, and to a degree also content. And that's the reality of the game. That's the reality.
You do know is that the pictures painted and the narratives against me are false. And like I've stated all the time, this paperwork will prove that. Now, my co-defendants and certain bloggers would have you believe that the names that I named in this interrogation interview is the sole reason and the main reason why co-defendants were charged, indicted, identified as gang leaders, and ultimately one getting 25 to life. All in this paperwork will prove that is totally false. Now, let's start with the first two names. Let's back up. This is the same paperwork that was given to Hip Hop is Real, and they chose not to show any of this paperwork to just give you guys content to keep you talking for the next week and a half. First two names, SOS and Hurt. As you can see on this main docket indictment list, SOS is not part of this current indictment, nor any future charges brought against SOS from me stating that he was part of a record label. What record label? My co-defendants will have you believe that there is no record label. This paperwork will also prove that there are several mentions.
Hey, my bad. Hold on, I'll go back for y'all. My bad. In case I'm in the way, I could move my screen from side to side, but I'll just read it. What's highlighted is Rodney asked about business. Bascom, he's putting his name out there. So when you see that name, that's Clone. I wouldn't have said that unless you was putting that out there, homie, with all due respect. Bascom says he's trying to get an LLC set up and get a t-shirt printing business started. Bascom says that some people still want to get their degree on the streets. Okay, I understand his point there. Let me just bring it back. My bad, y'all. This is live.
This paperwork will also prove that there are several mentions about a record label that we started. Next name, Hurt.
Okay, he's moving on. I thought he was going to flush that topic. So I will give live reaction there, if I interpreted that correctly. The record label and the names being there. See, I'm gonna let a little bit more happen to make sure he doesn't say something that's gonna like, oh, I should have waited because he's saying it now. There's a big thing of what somebody does versus what charges people eventually get. And I've always had a huge problem with that. I'm gonna get a little bit more context from Clone on that in a second. The record label thing, though, I will answer that or react to that piece. Let me read it one more time. Y'all. Rodney asked about business. Bascom says he's trying to get an LLC set up and get a t-shirt printing business started. Bascom says that some people still want to get their degree on the streets. Okay, so paperwork wise, that looks good for Clone, right? Because Clone has already said publicly, I believe, while fighting all of this, that when he said certain things in a box, he was talking about a record label, and he's saying he was the collegiate one, he was the smart one that was putting together the LLCs, et cetera, and that loans credit here in the paperwork. But here's the issue, though. With all due respect, and to be real about this, I'm doing this all processing all of this shit in flight. The issue with that is we say on these streams outside of battle rap, I do it every day, people. We did it yesterday when I was talking about Lil Durk's School His Ass, aka Beverly Hills song, right? And I said, if we got it, they got it. I said, we got to stop acting like these feds and these agents and these authorities are stupid. Here's the issue, and what catches you up here a little bit, Clone. With all due respect, to be honest, I got to be consistent with it. These people aren't stupid. So if you're in the box and you're talking about Ape, right? Whether it's a record label or company. Well, record companies are spin-offs of gangs every day, B. One of the most recent examples of that is Lil Baby with 4PF, right? He rolled out his last album campaigning, no more four pockets full. I'm away from that. And he didn't even do it in a way where he tried to mask the true reason of it. Like he didn't even do it like, oh, 4PF, like, nah, I was never really a part of it, so I just don't want to promote it anymore. He didn't even try to sneak it. The motherfucker did an interview with Lil Yachty and said, nah, these niggas is getting indicted out here. I see what just happened to my man King Slime. No more pockets full for me. You know what I'm saying? So, these labels, Death Row, it's notorious has a notorious reputation for gang banging and pyrus and gangsters, yet the record label in the front. What's some other ones that we've covered here on the chin? I'm speaking from things we've already streamed. The allegations of Preem and the Supreme Team being behind Murder Inc. to the point where after that, or during or after that indictment, they dropped Murder from their record label, right? They go from Murder Inc. like you can get killed fucking with us to like, oh no, we just murdered the booth. Like, it's like we're asking ourselves to be stupid when we say, these affiliations and these gangs, aka record labels that have gang members involved in them, you know, Lil Baby is out there publicly admitting like I gotta chill. So you gotta be careful there with that point, clone, because we could say LOC for ape, yes. But if you mention it in certain contexts or in certain lines of question in the box, they don't got you there. Before I go back, I'll just say this last piece I just thought about. They don't got you there for a record label. We all know that, right? You're not sitting in that interrogation room because we feel that the songs on this album from the record label are trash. No, you're there, and Ape is being asked because we believe that this is a fucking gang or there's criminal activity or murders or whatever coming out of this group. And you're trying to counter that by saying, no, 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 it's a record label. I get it. But we're over here trying to charge Ape and we're accusing Ape of these things. So any name involvement in that is what they're really after. So that's where you're getting caught up by saying things like ape versus still also showing paperwork that's saying, but I was the one that took care of the LLC. If you understand what I'm saying. Okay.
Paperwork will also prove that there are several mentions about a record label that we started. Next name, Hurt. As you all have come to find out, Hurt is Pacino. Now, the difference is, I mentioned Hurt. He said that is the sole reason on why he was re-fingerprinted and then indicted on this RICO. If that was the case, you would see his name, AKA Hurt, instead of AKA Pacino. They would also have his AKA with two names, such as AKA Pacino, AKA Hurt, such as they did with Tonka, AKA Hitter Ape. Now, we have proven that those two aren't part of this discovery. You don't see Hurt's name in here anywhere because he was part of the label that I had built, just like you don't see Clone's name anywhere in here because I was part of the label that I had built. Anyway, the next two names that we come to are the ones Lady Muscle.
You teaching me something, Clone. I ain't gonna lie. You'd definitely be teaching me something. Hold on. Because he said just like Clone isn't, right? So obviously he's fucking Clone, right? Hold on, let's go back. So is his regular name in it?
Part of the label that I had built.
Is regular name in it?
Like you don't see Hurt's name in here anywhere. We have a Hurt. Two names, such as AKA Pacino, AKA Hurt.
Hold on. Where's the Pacino one? I see the Pacino. So he's saying there's no AKA Hurt. So in the box, he says Hurt, and yet you don't see AKA Hurt listed as an alias here. So he's not getting charged, or he didn't get brought back in for fingerprinting for that. Okay. That you'd be teaching me something. Is he in here? He's at the top. Yeah. Once again, homie, all due you're putting this out, you're presenting this, so I wouldn't be doing the naming and all that. All due respect. Um, your name used to be Uno. What the fuck? What the fuck is Uno? You damn right cloning in here. I don't know what the fuck Uno is, but all right, let's do it. Let me just do it. Let me just do it. Um, I'll do it in a separate window. Um, um, does your alias need to be listed in an indictment? Did I spell that right? Indictment to be charged. It be teaching me something. Oh, okay. Oh, I'll bring it up for y'all what it says, but I'm just doing this live with y'all, people. I'm just doing this live. So I Googled, does your alias need to be listed in an indictment to be charged? It says no, an alias does not need to be listed in an indictment to be charged, while an indictment needs to identify the accused. It doesn't require the use of any specific name, including aliases. The prosecution is not obligated to list the defendant's alias in the indictment. That totally kills that point, clone. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just being 1,000. Elaboration, maybe there's something else in here. Hold on. Elaboration, indictment requirements. An indictment, which is formal accusation of the crime by a grand jury, must contain a few pieces of information. It needs to A, state the offense in a clear and concise manner. B, identify the accused person. C, name the statute, rule, or regulation allegedly violated. All right. So reading, the result there versus the point that clone just made, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. The reason why what we read to me makes sense is because we do a bunch of paperwork reads up here, right? If I see um Eugene Henley and then AKA Big U and then AKA Big Draws and then AKA what was one of them that said like everybody killer? Right. I was just like, wow, what the fuck? Now, if that's what's in the indictment, those aliases, yet I got a tapped phone call where I call the known number that's tapped of Big U, and he picks up with his voice and says, "Yo, what's cracking, cuz?" And then I ask him, uh, "Yo, uh, yo, Akuma." Okay, I got Akuma up there. Yo, Akuma, man. What really happened today with RW at that studio? Because he's missing now. All right, now just because I don't indict him now and I don't put Akuma in there, that call is now not admissible and he's off the hook. So what we read does make sense. I ain't gonna lie to you, clone. So you're saying that you didn't say that alias in the box, which means that it would matter only if it was put here. And we just read that that is not the case. That's not true, clone. All right, let's continue.
Such as they did with Tonka, aka Hitter 8. Now, we have proven that those two aren't part of this discovery. You don't see Hurt's name in here anywhere because he was part of the label that I had built. Just like you don't see Clone's name anywhere in here because I was part of the label that I had built. Anyway, the next two names that we come to are the ones Lady Muscle and the other one Muscle, who they say I identified as a gang leader. As you've seen in the footage that they released, I said Muscle started 8.
No, Muscle is just who started 8. What did you just say 8 stands for? All Purpose Entertainment.
Which stands for All Purpose Entertainment. You've seen that in the video that they released. Now, let's start with why.
Yeah, that's the example that we just talked about. That's almost like you got Gunna in a box. Gunna, you're here. You don't end up in a detection in a detective's box or at the precinct getting questioned unless you've already been arrested and detained. They can't force you to go there. So you're already under arrest. You've already been detained. You were handcuffed, you were thrown in a car, and you were brought to the precinct, and then you ended up in a holding cell possibly at some point, or you went directly to the detective's box, and then they gave you a line of questioning, right? Sometimes people are even still handcuffed while they're in the detective's box, right? Getting interrogated. So if they got Gunna in there and you know you're charged with or with detaining you, or we're investigating a shooting, right? Um, from our understanding, the shooting was done by 4PF, and you say, well, the leader of 4PF is Lil Baby. Lil Baby's gonna have a big problem with that. Yeah, I'm just keeping it 1,000, So I'm sure somewhere in here, Clone is gonna get to killing these points, but because I feel like you're making some points so far against yourself, homie. But listen, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
I am not the reason for Lady Muscle getting 25 to life, as you heard her state at the end of the video from Hip Hop Is Real. This is straight from the police's investigation. On 12/10/2017, at 21:25 hours, Smyrna officers heard gunshots coming from 3000 Highlands Parkway in Town Suites. Shortly after the officers heard gunshots, 911 calls came in, and it was reported that a female had been shot in her room. The victim was later identified, and she did not survive the injuries she sustained from the gunshots. The investigation revealed that the victim recently moved to the area from Ohio and was staying at In-Town Suites. Her cousin, Elijah Pullen, is a known Rolling 20s 8 gang blood member in Cobb County. Pullen was observed at the hotel room frequently. Delma Washington.
Yeah, so this right here is definitely showing that their interest is Ape is not as a record label, of course. It's as a gang, a blood gang or blood set in Cobb County. Okay.
AKA Lady Muscle, who was identified as the driver of a vehicle that fled from a traffic stop made by Cobb police shortly after the homicide occurred, was charged with murder as she participated as the getaway driver. I'm gonna read that sentence again for y'all. Delma Washington, aka Lady Muscle, who was identified as the driver of a vehicle that fled from a traffic stop made by Cobb police shortly after the homicide occurred, was charged with murder as she participated as the getaway driver. She was apprehended by fugitive on 12/12/2017. As we continued with the investigation, we learned that Delma Washington, aka Lady Muscle, was a member of the criminal street gang 8 gang. We have learned that her husband, Muscle, is the leader of the criminal street gang. Muscle is currently in custody in the Georgia prison system. We have discovered several key individuals involved within 8 gang, to include those in leadership roles. Prison calls obtained from Muscle's recorded phone calls identify Pacino, Uno, and Caesar as having leadership roles within the gang. I'm gonna read that sentence one more time. We have discovered several key individuals involved within 8 gang, to include those in leadership roles. Prison calls obtained from Muscle's recorded phone calls identify Pacino, Uno, and Caesar as having leadership roles within the gang. On the recorded phone calls, the homicide was discussed between Muscle, Uno, Pacino, and Caesar on more than one occasion.
Hold on. My bad. Wait. Where's that piece? So it's between Daniel Basco and more occasion. The phone typically dialed from prison. Okay.
Phone typically dialed from prison was to the point referred to as target telephone, identified as belonging to Bascom. Bascom then typically, three-way called Pacino. Caesar has been with Pacino during the calls and has participated in these conversations.
Damn, they make it sound like they had your phone tapped in. Okay. So that definitely would show that that the investigation of the murder, or the evidence that they've collected for the murder initially, did not come from the box, did not come from interrogation, the initial information, right? They got you guys on phone talking about it prior to. So, okay, I definitely get that point.
Got a little bit more for you. The vehicle fled the traffic stop location, and the occupants were not apprehended that night. During the pursuit, a firearm was thrown from the fleeing vehicle and recovered by cop police. Through the investigation, it was discovered that the driver of this vehicle was Delma Washington, aka Lady Muscle, and another passenger involved with the homicide was Mashawn Gatson, aka Tonka. Through various search warrants, social media, interviews, and recorded jail prison conversations, it was discovered that both Lady Muscle and Tonka were deeply involved with Bloods, particularly sets known as Rolling 20s Bloods and 8 Gang, and evidence of gang's other members and associates was discovered as the investigation continued. After Lady Muscle was arrested, Caesar came to visit her at Washington at Cobb County ADC. During that visit, details about the homicide were discussed and references were made about previously mentioned armed robberies. Recorded, I'm gonna read that one again. During that visit, details about the homicide were discussed and references were made about previously mentioned armed robberies. Recorded prison calls were later reviewed where Uno, Pacino, and Caesar discussed the homicide with Muscle and gang leader of 8 Gang.
Clone definitely proved the point there that they knew about the murder from prior to his statements in the box. Definitely just proved that. Gotta be real, people. I'm pretty sure somewhere, and if we don't, then I'm still gonna give my reaction to how all this information correlates to the interrogation footage. But absolutely right there via these meetings and jail visits and phone calls where y'all were discussing murders after they happened on the phone, and they definitely had the information prior to people being brought into the precinct and being questioned. Sure.
That is how.
But then again, that's why they would. That's the type of shit they use to concoct your arrest warrant to begin with. That's the type of shit that they use to come pick somebody up to begin with because they feel like they have a lead or some type of evidence or some type of information. Just so happens that what they had was y'all talking to each other about what has already taken place.
Lady Muscle got her 25 to life. That is how Pacino got re-fingerprinted. That is why.
Hey, Cal Capone, people make those mistakes a lot. Sometimes they do it. And shout out to Cal Capone in the building. He said, but why talk about it on a jail phone? That's crazy. It's just a mistake that people make a lot, man. Sometimes people do it directly. They'll pick up the fucking phone and be like, yo, you know what I need you to do? I need you to go kill witness XYZ before my trial date comes up, right? That's super direct. And then you got all these people that think they're talking in code, and we have a million streams up here where we're saying talking in code is dead. It's over. It's done. We see too many examples of that in paperwork, in indictments. They just did that to Lil Durk. When you're talking about riding around Beverly Hills with bounty hunters and all that, they're telling you that lyric could just be, all right, bounty hunters in Beverly Hills. No, we're saying that means you hunting Quando Rondo. Okay, code is out, and people jam themselves on them jail phones all the time, right? But I don't think what Clone is fighting here is him jamming himself up. What he's fighting is him getting other people either in trouble or breaking street codes on talking about criminal activity to authorities, right? That's what he's fighting. He's not fighting, damn, we was talking a little bit reckless. That's not the, if he was talking a little bit reckless and him and his people got time before it, nobody would call him a snitch. They would just call him stupid, to be real. You know what I'm saying?
I was in the interrogation room in the first damn place, and that was the basis.
He just said it. Ding. Point for ARP. So I got it. Like he said, he did clearly make that point. That's how he ended up getting interrogated in the first place. They used that type of shit and then they brought his ass in or had an arrest warrant for him. And then here comes the line of questioning. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that at some point.
Of that conversation, he already let me know that Muscle was the leader. He already let me know that he had these recorded phone conversations that came directly to me. So what recorded phone conversations? These. There's over 30 of these recorded phone conversations straight from the Department of Corrections. If you are familiar with phone, you have 15 minutes. These phone calls will be recorded, blah, blah, blah. Now, like I stated, this paperwork also shows
And
evidence
shout out Trufo
that
for
there
the
was
super,
an
man. I see you.
LLC, which my co-defendants tried to deny that there was.
My bad. Trufo over here
Straight
messing
from the
me up,
Department
y'all.
of
I'm supposed to be doing this with due diligence, man. I'm not treating clone like I treat these niggas I don't know. Okay, come on, Trufo, you messing me up. But you can't do nothing with Rose. But we'll get to that.
Corrections. If you are familiar with phone, you have 15 minutes. These phone calls will be recorded, blah, blah, blah. Now, like I stated, this paperwork also shows evidence that there was an LLC, which my co-defendants tried to deny that there was. When at first they wasn't rappers, but you also heard one of them admit to recording several songs with me. This one from Rodney. Caller asks, says Bascom is his advisor now. Tells Uno he and Pacino need to work it out. Uno is the thinker, Chino is the muscle. Notice in none of these conversations, they say Hurt, who I mentioned in the interrogation room. And if that was the case of him getting re-fingerprinted, that would be the name they would be using. Anyway, another call from Muscle. Muscle asks Uno, where's Chino? Uno says Chino is in Texas. He thinks he is there for South by Southwest. Now, all my musicians, artists, what all do we go to Texas and South by Southwest for? I'm gonna leave that right there. Muscle also talks about getting shirts for the game, for 8. He describes them. They laugh about Chino being an XL, Rodney being a 5X. Rodney asks about business. Bascom says he is getting the LLC set up and the t-shirt printing business started. Bascom says that also some people want to get their degrees.
You're definitely confirming that you were the one, as you said, were more on the collegiate side, smart side of things, business side of things, etc. And you are handling the setup of the LLC. That's definitely here from this paperwork screenshots that we're seeing. What's this above? Rodney asks if Bascom knows someone named 20 Glock. Rodney says that 20 Glock has been trying to hang with him in prison. Yeah, these prison calls are kind of crazy, but I'm trying to pay mostly attention to what's highlighted, clone.
Music degrees. So there's more mentions about the LLC, APE, All-Purpose Entertainment.
What did you just say APE stands for? All-Purpose Entertainment.
Which I mentioned, which is proof straight from recorded phone conversations. Not he say, she say, not what I think I remember, straight from Department of Correction phone conversation. Now, another topic that I just want to cover, make sure people have no questions, no thoughts. The time discrepancy. It was noted that I only did a year and got years of probation, while my other co-defendants got more than 3 years and 5 years. Like I said, I had a great lawyer, and also they had prior convictions, lengthy rap sheets, all in the paperwork. As you can see, I did the favor of highlighting each charge that has Pacino, not Hurt, Pacino. And as you can see, there are several. Not just him, all my co-defendants. You don't see Uno in here at all until you get to phone conversations. That is all they had to link me, which is why I was pulled in, and to why my lawyer was able to prove that I had no connection with the murder or the other violent crimes that these guys got caught for. At the end of the day, I was brought in something that I had no knowledge about, that I didn't greenlight, that I did not benefit from at all. And I still tried to give my guys a way out.
Well, the knowledge about you already showed that that's not true from the wiretap conversations. So the green lighting and involvement possibly was not shown in the paperwork or found on the wiretaps, which would loan to your credit of getting not as much time as everybody else. But the conversations about it, I'm not sure what they would go after. I don't know what charges would be, conspiracy or some shit. I don't know. I'm not trying to play over lawyer with something like this. But that's like a little gray area that point that was just made, clone. because of the
I don't want any
wiretap.
apologies. I don't care for them. Stay on that side of the fence. You know what I'm saying? All the real ones know. I think everybody just got caught up in digesting a lot of misinformation and not even paying attention to the facts. And also a big disservice from a third party that I reached out to who I thought would help me in this situation, but they only wanted to benefit from it. Lesson learned. This don't stop me. This won't stop me. I'll see y'all soon. Don't talk me to death.
Oh, hold on. You got music playing, dog. I don't know that music. Hold on, what's this? Caller asks and says Bascom is his advisor now. Tells Bascom he and Chino need to work it out. Bascom is the thinking, Chino is the muscle. Okay, we saw that piece. Okay. I'll give you my reaction in a second. I just want to finish, do my, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to do no disservice. I'm going to try to be as thorough as possible. You know, stay true to what I text you back, homie. Rodney asks Bascom where Chino is at. Bascom says that Chino is in Texas. He thinks he's there for by Southwest. Chino joins the call. Rodney asks where, see these calls, man. Rodney talks about getting the shirts. Ape Gang, he describes them. They laugh about Chino being an XL and Rodney being a 5X. They talk about a woman who has information regarding the gang. Okay. Okay. Rodney asks about business. Bascom says he's trying to get an LLC set up and get t-shirt printing business started. Bascom says that some people still want to get their degree on the streets. Okay. Rodney and Bascom talk about Bascom's rapping and some connections they have made regarding producers. Rodney has Bascom call a woman. Music shit. Bascom asks Rodney if he's heard what happened. Bascom says that Rodney's wife is down for a body, a murder. Bascom says he heard about it a couple of days ago. He can't remember the exact. This makes it worse to me. Like the other stuff that we're reading is in his favor. This takes out the favor, and I'll say why. He talked. Why you highlight this, clone? He talked. Let me read that again. Bascom says he heard about it a couple of days ago. He can't remember the exact day. I mean, you're not. That's not killing you from an authority standpoint, but from a why you're there standpoint is validating. Rodney asks what's going on. Bascom says there's a music video shoot. Okay. The names that he highlighted. What the fuck is it? All right, so I think this is the part that he read out loud. Okay. I think, yeah, we have discovered several key this is the part that he read out loud, I'm pretty sure. Okay. The vehicle fled. Yeah, this is the part he read out. Rolling 20s, Bloods, Ape Gang, evidence. It's also known where Bascom resides. Okay. All right, so here's the pros and the cons to it. So the pros to this video right here, would it clone correct or set straight or provide proof of? He provides proof that he definitely wasn't involved. Well, he's showing, I shouldn't say definitely, but he's showing that he wasn't involved in the murder. So when we start talking about, or the shooting, when we start talking about him getting reduced jail time, if you do hire a good lawyer, right? You see people go into these court situations all the time. They got different lawyers. Hell, Shine and Diddy was one of the worst examples ever. We see what happened to Shine. Even though people think Diddy did a little dirt there, different story, right? But you're going to see these co-defendants at times with different lawyers. This family got money. This family don't. It just is what it is. So if he happened to get himself a good lawyer and he didn't have any priors and the phone call evidence that, you know, at least from the stuff that was highlighted that we saw in this video, my lawyer has some good fight there. No priors, wasn't involved in the shooting, can't place me there. All you got me on is getting some phone calls. Somebody brings up the murder and I say, yeah, I heard about it. But anyway, let's get back to talking about printing up these XXL or 5X t-shirts. And I'm going to go get this LLC done. My lawyer is going to use that. So I'm not on nothing when it comes to him getting reduced time as per what this video shows. Right. I think he did a good job there. Also, I think he did a good job of showing why they got there or why he got there, which is the highlighting of the wiretaps. Okay. It's not like Clone was brought in for shoplifting, right? And then they asked him, hey, while we got you here, let me ask you about this ape shit, this ape blood gang shit. And he says, oh, by the way, SOS and muscle and this and that. And then they go and pick them up. No, that's not the case here. They got these people on wiretaps and jail phone calls and jail visits and recordings talking about all types of illegal activity, including that shooting. And then that's how they execute those warrants or have cause to now go and grab these people and bring them in. And then he ends up there. Okay. So he's got a couple things in his favor there. Now, what I was waiting for, here's one thing that's not in his favor that I will say. The first thing that's not in his favor that I say, oh, why'd you highlight that? Is you're showing that you are aware of gang or criminal activity that would put you in that box to begin with. That's why I gave the example of, hey, I just got picked up for shoplifting at the supermarket. Why am I here? Like, so you just showed that you knew that you was aware of the shooting. You knew what some of your people is into, regardless of whether you're not into that stuff or not. And you're just playing LLC and I'm a t-shirt guy and I'm the rapper and I'm the battler. I'm affiliated with y'all, but I ain't active with y'all. Yeah, you're proving that. But you're on these calls and you're highlighting, showing us that. So you know why you got picked up. If they didn't even tell you why you're charged, you know why you're picked up. You know why you're there. And then the line of questioning starts to come about ape. And he tried to say already produced entertainment, whatever it stood for, right? I get it. But that's why saying anything of these names in those contexts, why they're asking you about these situations or what's going on to begin with, that's why it's like, ooh, when you identify this person as the leader, and when you identify this person being a part of it, like it's tough for that. Like, people's gonna remain having an issue with that. Here's the biggest one, though. The biggest one, I got to keep the same energy because it's something that I've said a million times previously outside of this situation. And Clone, to a degree, you did that in this video. And I was waiting for the rest of the video for that to get addressed, and it didn't, which is people continue to take a position that if I'm not the reason why you got locked up, then I can't, like, shout out to Bad News. He's taken that position a lot, like in his lyrics, and I don't understand that. Well, it's incorrect. I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible. It's incorrect, And another one, that kind of plays on that to do a disservice to Clone's point is the alias point that he tried to make. That we pulled it up. That's just not true, homie. It's just not true. Like, just because you say hurt in the box, but then hurt isn't listed as an alias in the paperwork, doesn't mean that you have nothing to do with nothing. It's not about the name that I said ended up in the paperwork. It's not about the name that I said ended up getting indicted. It's not about the name that I said ended up getting arrested and detained but set free. It's not about the name that I said only got probation and got short time. And street people, and non-street people, that is an incorrect assumption. That is a total violation of the streets. It makes no sense, and it scares the shit out of me every time I hear people say it. The classic example that I always use for reference on the streams when we see that happen in other cases that we break down people, I always say King Yella. When King Yella did that stream addressing his snitch allegations because he sat in a box and they asked him questions about known BDs or GDs, right? For example, what's 600 Bs? And he goes, oh, well, he's a BD or he's a GD, blah, blah. And then when he came out and they asked him about it, because he tried to suppress that paperwork from coming out. And during the suppression is when it became public, I believe. So when it came out, even suppressing it is like a little guilty-ish in the first place. But when it came out, people was just like, oh, what are you doing? He took two positions that are total violation and total incorrect as it pertains to street code. The two positions that he took was, one, I'm saying something that everybody knows. So it's like, all right, so if a cop says, hey, we already know that Ape Gang is a blood gang, So I'm gonna ask you: is Ape Gang a blood gang? You say, well, since you already know, yeah, it's a no. It doesn't work that way. You're supposed to say, I don't know nothing about it being no blood gang, nothing like. I'm not saying that's part of his particular scenario, right? Just because you say something that the whole world knows, or the rap, the hip hop world knows, let these people rap what they rap. If Little Durk wants to get up there and say this, that, and that, nobody's gonna break any codes behind that. That's on him if he ever gets indicted. Now, if I'm sitting in front of authorities, that's the difference. Because now I am strengthening an accusation or a case by agreeing to. They could use me, whether they go grab the person or not. That's number two, but we'll get there. They could use me as their continued weight of justifying why we believe these are our targets. This is correct. People are other gang members are confirming to us. Yeah, we hear the music and all that, but now sitting in front of an authority and confirming is breaking of the code. Period. And the second thing, the next time I hear somebody say this shit, I might just cancel that topic going forward. Like, it's killing me. If you take the position that nobody got indicted or arrested behind my statements, the next person that tells me that, be like, it's insanity to me. It's insanity. I've said this fucking example last year, almost a year ago. Let's do it again. Here I am. I walk into the 120, 120 precinct on Richmond Terrace by the Staten Island Ferry, right? I'm on some Staten Island shit right now. I'll walk into the 120 precinct. I walk into the 120. I walk up to the front counter. I say, how you doing? My name is ARP. I'd like to speak to a detective about some information that I want to put on the table. All right, give me a second. Let me go get somebody for you. Go get a detective. Hey, nice to meet you. My name is Sergeant blah, 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 Detective Lee, whatever. You say, yeah, I got some information for you. Say, all right, come holler at me. Come to my office. Step in my office. You step in this office, right? And you sit down. And I sit down and I say, I just want to let you know something, man. There's this battle rapper named Clone, right? He's mostly known in the public for being a punchline rapper, being a great battle rapper, his setups and his delivery. That's mostly what he's known for. But behind the scenes, man, I just want you to know, he's also part of this team called Apes. They are a sector of the Bloods in Georgia, in Cobb County, and that gang is linked to shootings, and that they're linked to assaults and robberies and whatnot. I just want to let you know that. Okay. Detective says, thank you for the information. He shakes my hand and I walk out. If Clone never gets arrested for that, if his name never ends up in paperwork behind what I just did, what I just told the detective, if nobody ever knocks on his door and says, hey, we have some questions for you, if he never has any authority engagement, does that mean what I did was not snitching? If you believe that what I did was not snitching at that point, you are on the wrong channel, because my logic, my ethics, my principles, my morals, my codes, my experiences, there's going to be a lot of things that we discuss. You and I will not be aligned. Okay. You still believe that Drake's lawsuit is some beautiful thing for hip hop. We're not aligned. And it's okay for us not to be aligned. What I did was I still told, motherfucker. I'm not talking to Clone, or respectfully. I still snitched. The authorities just didn't act on it. You know how much case opportunities the authorities have? You know how many people go to them with information? How about this? T.I. kind of got slapped for this. Some street people stand against him. People like my son that came out and spoke about it and said, nah, I don't like what T.I. To me, he's not good. Other people stand in the middle, right? Them 1-800 numbers, them Crime Stopper numbers and whatnot, right? If I'm just a regular civilian like me, and I call 1-800 Crime Stoppers because I see a fucking commercial that goes up and it's got a reward, any information. We put these pictures up here on the FBI top 10 wanted list. And if you know any of these people, that's why they used to have that show. It's so important, because they feel like, I'll put you on TV, somebody gonna see this motherfucker. No. Right? Well, I put this shit up here on the screen, and then I call in and I say, yo, on the race contestant number 4 on your show. That's Harry. I know him. You know what I'm saying? Can I get my $1,000 now? Oh, by the way, he's in Cobb County. You'll find him there. I get my $1,000, right? If they never find him or he's not in Cobb County anymore, my phone call goes nowhere. But if I'm a street nigga and I just did that, I'm a fucking rat. That's dude from Belly. That's in the street saying, eating a banana, talking about, I don't like that shit. I'm gonna drop a dime on them niggas. If you are a street nigga, or you involved in street or criminal activity or amongst that element, and you're running with that element, and you give information, you don't. The other person does not have to get indicted, faced by authorities, charged, jail time, or anything like that for what you have done to be considered snitching. I'm gonna close it out. The next person that says that, people, I don't get it. It kills me. It annoys the fuck out of me. Nobody got indicted behind what I said, so, huh? King Yella said what? Oh no, you got it. You got it. You got it, G. You got it, gangster. You got it, Yella. Yeah. I'm a snitch, and nobody got indicted behind what I said while I was with detectives. What? What? You got it. I don't want no argument. You got it. So what I was waiting for, in conclusion, what I was waiting for was to see if there's a piece of the video that turned some narrative about that. And Clone, that's probably going to remain one of your biggest fights. Actually, it's already documented. This isn't just an ARP opinion. Even from your early video with Jack Boy, you continue to say I have paperwork. And people continue to say, we're not looking at the paperwork, because we're all in agreement that, there's not transcripts from the interrogation in any paperwork. So sometimes people say certain things in interrogation that's not in these indictments or discoveries. And you just never know what happens. You just never know what was said. But in Clone's case, a video actually came out. So nobody is contesting that it's not in the paperwork, right? Because it may not be a part of regular normal procedure to put that investigation in the paperwork, that line of questioning, that interrogation in the paperwork. But the video came out and showed it. So that is your target, and that's been everybody else's target. The paperwork, you've cleared certain things, but you have yet to clear that video. You know what I'm saying, homie? So respectfully. And I'm only doing what you asked me to do, G. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna move on. Yeah, we've been here over an hour. We switched things up a little bit today. Okay. What do we got here? All right, Diddy, I don't cut deals with feds. He rejected his plea deal. Diddy was back in court Thursday for one final hearing before his criminal trial, and he told the judge he rejected a plea deal presented to him by federal prosecutors. The bad boy records founder strolled into a Manhattan courtroom wearing a tan jail jumpsuit, looking gray and thin. And he waved to the public and media seated in the gallery before taking a seat at the defense table between two of his attorneys, Tenny, Garagos, and Brian Steele. Oh yeah, Brian Steele with his last appearance, huh? Yeah, we put him on Front Street. Yeah, the gray hairs out and all that. Shout out to him, man. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect, man? You're in jail. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to take care of yourself, manicure yourself, shave yourself, dye your hair, you don't get to do all of those things, So what do y'all expect, y'all? Diddy was smiling and in good spirits, chatting with his attorneys, and he was chummy and seemed unfazed by the upcoming trial. The judge asked Diddy if he rejected a written plea offer from the government, and Diddy replied, "Yes, I did." Diddy was also asked if he was aware he would potentially serve more time in prison if he's convicted than if he took a plea deal. And Diddy told the judge he understood the stakes. While we don't know what prosecutors offered, damn, I want that fucking I want that paperwork. I want to know that's what he was offered, man. See, when we knew what ASAP Rocky was offered, that was just like, whoa. That scared a lot of people, right? Like, what do we got offered some small. I mean, in all fairness, I don't want to do a weekend. I don't want to do a week in that place. It's shitty as fuck, people. Trust me. But what he got offered based on what we were seeing alleged, we was just like, you sure you don't want to take that? You still coming home to your billionaire BM and all this? Like, you sure? I really would love to know what Diddy was offered. But one of the biggest differences, regardless, is let me check again real quick. How old is Diddy? Right? Diddy is 55 years old, people. So if all his charges add up, whether they ran concurrent or not, to like, let's just say 20 years, even if you offer him less than half, yo, Diddy, do 9 years. Diddy right now is looking in the mirror like, I'm still partying. You know what I'm saying? I'm still out here drinking and having fun and being Diddy and enjoying my wealth and enjoying my family. Like, you trying to take me into my 60s possibly? Nah, I'm missing out on all this of what I got going on. I mean, let's be real. That's one of the beautiful things about if you are blessed to still be alive in your 50s and 60s and 70s and your health is still being maintained. You know what I'm saying? If you have that blessing and if you are wealthy, you are still living it up. Shannon Sharp is how old? He's still out here with text messages with these 20-year-olds talk about, hey, man, send me 10 grand. Yo, I'll give it to you in person. Like, these motherfuckers still out here enjoying their life. They got it like that. They got access because of who they are, their money, the beautiful cars and homes and women still around. Diddy'll be 60 years old, still on some Hugh Hefner shit, flooded with women around him. No, he don't want to take 5 years right now. He's 55 fucking years old. Hell no, he don't. Hell no, he don't, man. He's too old. He's too old. So I think he was going to turn down damn near anything. And you're not coming to Diddy with no, all right, here's the plea. You're facing all of this shit, sex trafficking, arson, it's all of this. And here's the plea deal, 2 years. That's not going to be the offer. No fucking way they offered him 2 years. No way did they offer him a Nino Brown deal. What? All he gets is a year? I should have killed you myself, mother. Nah, they did not offer that nigga no Nino Brown shit, B. He got offered something where that nigga said, yeah, niggas kidding me, man. That's the death of me if I take that. I'm going to die in there. No, I'm not taking it. I'm fighting this. I never expected Diddy to take no plea, ever. Not at his age. And not with the type of person he is. He wants to be outside. Commonly, they don't expect the defendant to accept a deal. Instead, prosecutors are guarding against grounds for appeal. If prosecutors didn't offer it, could give Diddy a post-conviction argument that his attorneys didn't effectively represent his interests, and therefore he should get a new trial. Oh, so there's legalities in certain outcomes, whether you're offered a plea or not. Now, I believe you could appeal anything, right? You don't need to. I think you could appeal anything. Watch this. Can you appeal appeals 2 P's? Come on, ARP. Appeal a conviction even if you are not initially. Google don't really like when the question is this long, right? Google sucks. ChatGPT is king now, but I'm on Google. Even if you are not initially offered a plea deal. Yes, you can appeal a conviction even if you weren't initially offered a plea deal and it didn't plead and didn't plead guilty. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was assuming. Like, you could still plead or appeal regardless. Right. But there's some stipulations that they're still protecting against by offering it in the first place. If prosecutors didn't offer it, it could give Diddy a post-conviction argument that his attorneys didn't affect. I wonder if it's specific to that. Hey, my attorneys didn't do a good job, so I need another trial. I wonder if it's specific to that type of scenario. Either way, that it just all sounds like chessboard pieces being moved around. Hey, we're going to offer him 30. We know he's not going to take it, but not only is he not going to take it, but it's gonna also protect us on the back end from this type of situation. Okay. All right. The jury selection is coming up in a couple days. Okay. All right. That's Diddy. Shout out to let me hop back over to the supers for a second. Hold on, I got y'all. And then I'm gonna go to Kanye. Um Facts Nation became a member today. Shout out to Facts Nation, man. I know this man. He's not just a casual person in the chat or person on YouTube. This man is respected from the battle rap culture. I go to his channel very, very frequently. He does his thing. And he's been definitely very supportive of this channel. He's been up here 6 a.m. mode with us a lot. So I appreciate you, homie. As always, salute to you and your whole side of the game as well. I see you over there doing your thing. Cal Capone, I think we got 2. Yes. Truthful, we got 2. I got Rosenberg 3-0 or 2-1. I don't know how much backstory y'all got or angles that's on the table for y'all. If there's angles on the table, well, Truthful got some angles against him, and so does Froze. I know battle rap, so I'll respect Truthful. You know, Froze 2-1. You can prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong. Sean Harris with the 20. I appreciate you, homie. Thank you for the super, my guy. Thank you for hanging around on the stream. We're hour and 15 in. And y'all are still enjoying some of what we got going on up here. But let me keep it moving for y'all. Let me keep it moving along. Kanye, friend of the channel. If you know this channel, you know how sarcastic that is. And what's going on? Reunited couple Kanye West and Beyonce, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Y'all together not. Sue his dentist for malpractice providing nitrous oxide. Why am I laughing? I even get into the fucking details yet. The rap mogul became addicted to the laughing gas and was supplied copious amounts to the couple's home. A letter from their lawyers state. Is that not enough? I skimmed this early and I felt like there was a better detailed was this it? Hold on. West, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2016, displayed behavior that was erratic before and during the period when he was in Connolly's care. Connolly is the dentist, I believe. But in those months, he did make several bizarre public statements and go on social media tirades, where he at one point praised Adolf Hitler and denounced the Me Too movement. West also purchased local advertising during the Super Bowl, in which he appeared for his fashion and his shoe brand Yeezy that aired towards the end of the game. In the spot, West was shown lying down at the dentist, shooting the spot on an iPhone front-facing camera with sunglasses on. Okay, good job, Ye. On multiple occasions, you acknowledged in the writing what your treatment of Ye was improper. The attorney's letter to Connolly states, in various communications, including text messages, exchanges, and or emails, you apologized to Ye and Miss Sense. Oh, he apologized. And admitted that you had made mistakes in your treatment decisions. Ooh. They got text messages of you admitting guilt. Kanye might catch a win on this channel, y'all. You know I'm always keep it real. He might catch a win on this channel. Hold on, I'm gonna keep it real. The letter also notes that Connolly extracted exorbitant payments from West for his services to tune $50,000 per month and alleges cumulatively reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't need much else for my take on this. I really don't. If the dentist is admitting guilt towards some of his practices and procedures, right there you got an issue. Number two, the amount of payments, because it said he was absorbing, or like as if he had access to just pull his, I don't know, but $50,000 a month doesn't surprise me. Now, when you hear the number, we're gonna be like, "What the hell? Like 50,000? Oh, nah, he definitely setting up Kanye." I'm gonna tell you why. For me, that number doesn't surprise me. Like when we speak the other day about just brackets of lifestyle, $50,000 to us is $5 or $50 or maybe 500 at best to Kanye, right? That's just the different brackets of aligning yourself with this type of spending. Here's the thing about these fucking celebrities and these super rich or wealthy people and their vices. Okay, you have doers. That's number one. actually a mule that was found or let off of the Diddy case, right? They're not like some of y'all in this chat that's walking down a block and finding the weed man and saying, all right, give me 2 for 10 or whatever. No, they have doers, they have handlers, they have people in the middle, they have runners, they have all these things. They're not going to the barbershop. The barbers are coming to them. They're not going and purchasing the drugs themselves. Somebody's dropping it off to them. Um, the dentistry could even be done in home. Like the convenience that these people purchase themselves is through the roof because they just got it like that. Number two, when you're talking about within that lifestyle and these people's vices, what happens is money buys anything. All right. Now, in these places of medical practice, you guys must be naive if you think that everything is clean. Whether you're a doctor or a dentist, money is money. And you can find and buy a lot with money. What happened in Half Baked, right? He had a job there, and there's legal weed around him, but somebody was snatching the shit, right? Dave Chappelle and them was snatching it, right? It's no different to me. These doctors will write you a prescription for some shit if you're Kanye West, even if maybe if you walked into an office as me and asked for it. If I walk into a dentist office right now and say, yo, I like that nitrous oxide, you know what I'm saying? Let me get a tank of that. They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy and send me packing, right? Kanye West goes to a dentist, gets some allegedly. I'm just painting a picture of how some of this stuff goes. And paints a picture, and then he walks in there and says, "Let me get some of that nitrous oxide again. You know, I can send you a tank. You know, run. You know what?" And you buy that type of convenience, and these people will sign those prescriptions for you. You know, people get all types of stuff, uppers, downers, weed prescriptions that maybe they don't deserve to have in certain states before they went legal or whatever, right? Ozempic. Um, and then the privacy aspect, right? Of I don't want to walk back and forth to a doctor's office every day as Drake, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're gonna pull up on me and you're gonna hand me my Ozempic or hand it to my handlers. These guys purchase all types of stuff, right? Why else should any dentist be placing nitrous oxide in somebody's personal home? For us, that's a no. For these celebrities, happens every day, B. Now, is Kanye addicted to fucking nitrous oxide or laughing gas or whatever? Who knows? Who knows? But for me, it ain't gonna be no escape route because I could just go to the simple level of saying, all right, you got turned out on a alleged drug. You want to blame the dentist. I mean, I've been put to sleep before medically or whatever. If I would, I signed some papers and but if I ended up getting addicted to some shit, cough syrup, is that not one of the most common ones? Is that not one of the most notorious ones? There's certain cough syrups that you need a prescription for, but I can't go walk into CVS right now and buy a whole fucking thing of cough syrup, right? That might got some addictive type of properties to it and throw that shit in a fucking gallon of Sprite. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain shit you can buy, but the prescription type of shit that people leaning out over, you think nobody got a plug? You don't even got to be Kanye's level to get a plug to go get some promethazine or some shit like that. It could be your cousin that just happens to be a fucking doctor. And he's writing your prescription for your fucking lean. Here you go. And you go pick it up. Shit. What do y'all think just happened with NBA Youngboy? Huh? What do you think just happened with NBA Youngboy? Here's one of the difference, though. NBA Youngboy allegedly got caught up in what he got caught up. Well, he just served time for, right? But he didn't turn around and sue the doctor that gave him the prescription. Kanye, use that nigga, boy. I swear, Kanye, use that nigga. Here's one that I missed yesterday as far as Kanye being that nigga, man. I swear, Kanye, you the man. You know what I didn't realize yesterday when we analyzed this deeper as a topic? I forgot Drake is Jewish. I really forgot Drake is Jewish, B. Yo. So now Kanye, like you got your own racial Nazi Hitler thing going on, but Did you put this shit around Top 5's neck as a shot at Drake? If you did, I would actually give you a point. I would actually clap it up for that. And then I would have to look back at Top 5 and say, look how stupid you are. The person that you claim to be the shooter for, you do anything for, you'll cut off a foot for, a leg for, all this type of shit. Now you walking around with a fucking a swastika around your neck because Kanye gave it to you, one of Drake's real enemies, whether he tells you or not, right? And you on camera now holding it up and flaunting it, your new chaining gift, and the person that is giving you damn near all the light that you have, he should be offended as fuck. He's Jewish. Which one of you guys is more stupid in this situation? I'll leave that for the chat, B. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is another fast one for y'all. I do have a question after this. I really
What
do.
the whole with Meech, man, like
Oh,
he sat up, did his time, came home, and feels like everybody done turned on him, man.
Oh, me and Meech had some talks about that. He don't
Recently?
yeah. Like he don't feel, he does feel slighted because he felt that, you know, him and 50 should have sat down and had a real conversation as men, because he been in there for 20 years. He don't know the feud that's going on with 50 and whoever else. All he knows is that when he got out, Ross came through, showed some love. While he was locked up, Ross made a big ass song that was, you know, he think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover. In his mind, Ross is just paying homage. He not understanding the politics of what's happening in the music business. He felt was that, you could say, serious, that it had to warrant what Fifth did. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't think it's only one person. I've seen like multiple people taking shots at him. It ain't been just.
Yeah, but what hurt him the most really because he really got love for 50. And he appreciate everything that 50 did for his son. So he just felt like that situation could have been handled better between them two, right? Everybody else, he ain't really tripped much because he always felt like, you know, when you're the man at the top, it's going to be some jealousy. It's hard to even talk about the fan without saying something crazy.
Because
for obvious reasons.
I got you. That makes sense.
You understand?
Because everybody else been getting jammed up for their stories.
1,000%. Like, everyone had a contribution to a certain level of it, but I think when it comes to the idea of what BMF was as an entertainment company, what he was trying to do.
That's another one that I could have referenced. I used 4PF and Death Row earlier, but that's another one that we could have said when I was doing the clone breakdown, which is BMF, right? Like, yeah, record label, cool. Like, we know the rapper Blue and all that, clone, right? But if you put Blue there and you say, hey, talk to me about BMF, who is the leader? And he says Big Meech, right? We're not asking you about the music, really. We BMF behind the scenes, we know what's going on. That's an even better example than 4PF. That's way better of an example than Little Baby and 4PF and possibly Death Row as well. Yeah, BMF. Damn, yeah, that was a bad point earlier in regards to Clone's defense. But shout out to Heineken's too. I see that this is Heineken's post. Shout out to you, Heineken. Oh, that's all on me. I just want to say this, and I'm gonna leave the 50 and the Big Meech topic alone for the rest of the day. I just want to say, dude, are we supposed to forget that we were promised this Tammy documentary? 50 did a paperwork read on Big Meech. We got to that section. I said, listen, this whole relationship between that detective and the girl and how it was kind of broken down that they were sleeping together and how she was allegedly sent from Big Meech from jail, like get these people together and all that and let them. It created gray area. It definitely created gray area. But when I read that paperwork, I said, technically, there's nothing in here that confirms he told. So there's no video, there's no extra this. If all we got is the paperwork and reread that relationship between Shorty and the detective, and because they were in serious cahoots riding around, where she was fully working as per that paperwork, right? And then they killed her credibility, saying that, hey, when she got exposed, that's when she started doubling back. We don't got to go all the way back to that. There's gray area, but technically, it's not proven. Where's this Tammy doc? 50? Where's this Tammy doc? All right. Last but not least, man, I gotta address King Los. Unfortunately. Why? Because King Los is tripping. King Los is unfortunately out here tripping. I saw something go by my wall because we follow each other on Twitter. I clicked play and I was just like, yo, this nigga, he's tripping. He's
I heard the whippers when niggas was talking, the ones that was doubting, the ones that was dissing, and now you niggas get beat the fuck up. If I see you, I leave you on humble position. I can confuse you the buzz with a bitch. I can come different, you want a collision. Nigga got ready, let it see what it was hitting, and niggas that close in my kitchen, they wanted to chastise. I was running the bay high. As soon as my demons come pay you a visit, you wanna get baptized. When you was just thugging and running through public like one in the bag down. She feeling my swag, I'm still in my blood, like some of the last five. Ain't nobody got my back. Shit about to get shot with ranks. You little rappers better off slinging dope and coke and robbing banks. This shit ugly, and I'm just getting started. My S5 80 like an SSI, check that bitch look retarded. This shit ugly, like most y'all baby mothers. I got a swag of the 80s hustler. Shit don't kill me, it makes me.
Fear tape. Fear tape. What's that? Los? What is that? Fear tape? Song the best. See you soon. Hashtag fear tape. Los, I need a date. Los, I need that. Because that right there was sounding crazy, B. The best. I was just texting with Los the other day in case y'all thought when I was saying I got to address King Los, maybe y'all thought I was on his heels or something. Nah, it's my fucking guy. I was just texting 2 days ago. I saw that on my timeline and said, whoa. I need my music, man. Get me my music. If y'all want me to get on King Lo's heels, it'll be because he's not getting me my music. If you're going to put out a teaser like that, get me my fucking music. Get me my music, B. I'm putting you on the clock like 50 with this Tammy shit. I want my fucking music. All right? I need my music. Jay says, is that how you dance in the gym? The gym, the shower, the club, everywhere. Now let me tell you something, Jay. Let me tell you something. There's like a odd perception of me at times, right? I know it's come from it. It's happened my whole life. It's because of the way I talk. I don't have that deep of a voice. My voice even got a little bit more scruffier later on, a little bit. But most of my life, I even had a lighter voice. And I just speak the way that I speak. And it gives sometimes the impression, let me leave Jay up here. Sometimes it gives the impression of, and there's just a lot to me that when you're around me and you be like, I didn't know. I'll give you a funny one. Was it this year? It's a couple months ago, maybe. Couple months ago, maybe. Yeah. We was hanging out in the city one night. Oh, we was going to the city. And so I rented a Sprinter to pick us up at my boy A's house. It's me, my boy A, my man Ty, my man Ant was there, Ant from RBE. Met up with my boy Future. He pulled up, Holla Ensign. So we met up at my boy Aaron's crib, and then we hopped in the Sprinter, and then we all drove to the city. And we had a fun night. You know what I'm saying? We went to a spot. And like a couple days after that, me and Holla's on the phone. He said, yeah, Sin said she didn't know you was like that. And I was half offended. I was like, yo, people get too caught up in the way I talk. I was like, you fucking think I am Carlton? And I was like, nigga, my criminal history is way worse than yours, Holla. Like, I'm joking. Allegedly, I'm joking. But I was offended. I laughed, but I was like, Sin said, what? I'm like, Why? Because I could dance? Like, the fuck are you talking about? So, nah, when you see me dancing like that on stream, I'm like I'm having fun, but I'm like joking as well too. But I'll dance circles around some of y'all. I'll dance circles. Jay, I'll dance fucking circles around you. Like, I'm really, really like that. Like, I don't need no break dance or no crazy shit. I know I don't deserve to be a choreographed stage dance or nothing. But I'm a hip hop baby. I'm also black. I'm born with rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I'm West Indian. I came up in the dance hall scene. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, my younger years is just as much dance hall as it was hip hop and R&B. All right. Like, my house, my family is reggae. All right. So I'll dance circles around some of you. And I love the misinterpretations on me at times. It's like, oh, can you dance? I'll dance circles around you. Can you play ball? I'll fuck you over on the court. Can you fight? I'll leave all types of blood in your mouth. Like, I'd rather my voice and the way I talk just leave all of this question. I'd rather that. But Jay, get your ass scraped on the dance floor if you want. Oh shit. You know what? Before I start revealing too much, I'll let y'all get this piece by piece as the months and the years roll out on this podcast. Before I give y'all too much, let me get the fuck up out of here. Happy Friday.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I drop it, connected to block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of and shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.